Hey guys, hello and welcome to this amazing short series that I've created for you. And this is called Fulfilling Relationships, right? So, the goal in this series is for us to create relationships which are truly fulfilling, right? So, what we want to do here, we want to get clarity. What exactly do we look for in relationships, right? And what are some of the solid steps? So, if you know me, all my trainings are going to be action based trainings, which means I want to give you the practical steps to implement the stuff that you learn. So, fulfilling relationships, it's a 5 video series, and here we are going to be working on getting clarity, taking a few steps to creating beautiful relationships, right? So, I hope you like the slide. I tried to find a fun one because our relationship, just like our life, is a journey, right? It's a journey. And in that journey, there will be setbacks, right? On a journey sometimes you have a flat tire, right? On a journey sometimes you need to grab and get food because you're hungry, right? In a journey, very often you don't realize it, but it's an endless journey, right? What I mean is there is no clear destination. It's a part of your life that will keep with growth and progress till the time you're alive, till the time both of you are alive, right? So it's an endless journey which is going to be having some ups as well as some downs, and some excitement as well as some boring parts, as well as some days you will, you know feel like, why did I go on this journey at all? Right? So it's a journey. Let's try and get some clarity on it. So fulfilling relationships is what this course is about, and today is day 1. So let me give you a quick overview of what the 5 days are going to look like. So day 1 is going to be 3 dimensions of a relationship. This is what we'll be discussing today, right? So this course is designed with short videos, not very long, very short videos, but things that click, things that give you, okay, it unlock things in your mind. You have been always wanted to understand this, how it happens, and it gives you those breakthroughs, those meanings that you've always been looking for, right? As well as a task, a fun task to involve your partner. And because this is a relationship training, I really want you to involve your partner, your spouse, husband, wife, whoever they are, right? So day 1 is 3 dimensions of a relationship. Day 2 is 4 stages of disintegration, how relationships disintegrate and get destroyed. We're going to study that as well. And day 3 and 4 are the most critical aspects of this course, what women really want. And I'm going to share that with you, and I want all the women out there to give me whether you agree with it or not. Right? Let's find that out this week. And then what men really want, right? All the men out there, when you see this, just post in the WhatsApp group, is this really what you want, right? And day number 5 is abundance in relationships. So on day number 5 we'll do a small exercise during the video, where we will try and fulfill our ambitions with the help of the law of attraction, right? Create abundance in our relationships, right? Love, an infinite flow of love, as well as, fulfillment for both partners. So let's get started with day number 1, the 3 dimensions of a relationship, right? 3 dimensions of a relationship, which is basically 3 types of relationship that I'm going to talk about. But before we do that, we have to understand you know the structures involved in a relationship, or the people involved in a relationship. Now, it's not just men and women who are involved in a relationship, right? It's masculine energy and feminine energy that is involved in a relationship. And now, what do I mean by that? See, these are just the typical characteristics that culturally define a man or a woman, right? So a person with masculine energy would be doing things like a man, right? He's bold, he's doing things like, that men are supposed to be doing. And uh, person with a feminine energy will be doing things that we culturally define as women like to do, right? Feel, sometimes being more conservative about things, and taking a more shy approach to things, and loving things that women love to do. Similarly, these are just the typical, or the, I should say, labels that society has created. Now, here is something for you to understand for the first time, if you haven't, discovered something like this before. Men and women both have feminine as well as masculine energy, right? So every time in this course I say men, I mean people with masculine energy, and every time I say women, I mean people with feminine energy, right? And both, absolutely beautiful. Which I mean is that every person has both. You may have a higher percentage of masculine energy, you may be a really masculine man, or you may be, somewhere in between, Or you may be a really feminine man, which is again amazing. Or you may be a really masculine woman, somewhere in between, or a really feminine woman, right? So it's a scale where we all lie in terms of our ways of behaving, right? In terms of our culturally defined tags, right? So there are also really masculine women and really feminine men, as well as really masculine men and really feminine women, and we all lie somewhere in this range. So everybody has a little bit of feminine energy as well as masculine energy. I want you to understand that every time I say men, I just mean people who have a lot of masculine energy, right? I hope you understand this. And this is just the typical behavior. Anybody who has high masculine energy, the typical behavior that men tend to indulge in. Now, having understood this, let's dive into what those three dimensions of relationships are. Right? Three types of relationships which are defined as one dimensional, two dimensional, and three dimensional. So, what is a one dimensional relationship? Now, this very often happens, and you may have noticed this, you may have been in one, you may be in one, right? A one dimensional relationship is where it is defined by the underlying uh, assumption that it is all about yourself, right? This may be true for you or for your partner, right? Very often it happens that sometimes what happens, a girl or a guy pursues the other person for a long time, even though the girl is not very interested. They tend to kind of give up and agree, and they get into a relationship. But the the dimension becomes in such a way that because the guy was really pursuing it, he is supposed to be the giver in the relationship, and the girl is supposed to be receiving, right? And when I say giving and receiving, it's about love, it's about attention, right? It's about care. So one person becomes the giver and one person becomes the receiver. Have you noticed relationships like this, where one person, it's just about themselves, right? They feel like they did a favor by getting into the relationship. And typically this is true both ways. Even sometimes men or boys feel like this, and sometimes women and ladies feel like. So any one person in the relationship feels like they are supposed to be just receiving, and the other person feels like they are supposed to be just giving in the relationship. So one person is the giver, the other person is the receiver. Both parties, understand this, both parties are generally unsatisfied after the honeymoon period. So what is the honeymoon period? It is the first few, for some it may be days, for some it may be weeks, for some it may be months, the initial period of a relationship where everything seems to be going amazingly, right? And it is going amazingly because you really want it to go amazingly. You're working on the positive stuff only and totally ignoring the negative things, and that is causing you to feel all rosy and have those hearts in your eyes, right? That is the emoji that defines this period, the honeymoon period. But after this, what happens? That one person who is giving, he's happy to give. He is giving all the time, attention, focus to the other person. The other person is happy to receive, right? But very soon, the person who is only giving and giving and giving begins to feel dissatisfied, right? They are not satisfied with the fact that they are just giving, they are not receiving as much as they would like to. And also, believe it or not, the person who is just receiving doesn't know what is happening, but they also start to feel unsatisfied in the relationship. They don't realize what is wrong, but they feel like there's some of their needs are not getting fulfilled, right? And that tends to then come up all those dissatisfactions and quarrels and different things that destroy a relationship. So we'll discuss that also tomorrow. But this is just the dimension of this relationship, right? So why does this happen? Because in a relationship, it is your need to love as well as be loved, right? So even the person who is just receiving love, care, and attention, they are not fulfilling their need of giving the love, care, and attention. Right? That need is still unfulfilled, where they need to give somebody the love, care, and attention to be feeling like they have a fulfilled relationship. Right? So it is actually a basic human need to love and be loved. So as long as both are getting fulfilled, you are meeting the need. If even one is not getting fulfilled, you are not. So this is the typical characteristic of a one dimensional relationship, where it is all about one person, right? And these type of relationships don't last for very long. Even if they do, it creates a lot of stress, anxiety for both parties involved, right? So we don't want these kind of relationships. Now, what is a two dimensional relationship? So this is the dimension where the defining statement becomes it is all about equality, right? It is all about equality. This is a stage or a type of relationship where most people tend to be stuck, right? So it may be because of the modern empowerment movements, right, which are very necessary in their own rights, but they have certain skewed interpretations in our minds, right? So you fight for equality as that seems the most logical choice and also what modern mantras tend to dictate. You feel like there should be equality in a relationship. I should get as much love, time, and attention as the other person. I should be able to meet my goals exactly like if he's doing a job, I should get to do a job. If she's doing this, I should get to do this, right? You try to make things equal, and that is what most philosophies tend to dictate, right? There should be equality in a relation, there should be equality in the marriage, right? That is not wrong, but the way we interpret it is wrong, right? I'll just explain to you what it means, right? So this does not lead to a fulfilling relationship as there can never be perfect equality. Now, a masculine energy in a relationship and a feminine energy, or any combination of the two, are never going to be equal. What that means is tangible measurement of activities. For example, doing a job for a certain time, you get this much time, I have to take care of my children, you take care for only 30 minutes, I spend 6 hours with the kid, and things like that. That equality will never be able to be accurate, because our lives are dynamic and your skills and talents are dynamic, right? So there will be one area of the relationship where your skills will be in more demand and you'll have to give more time. In another area, your spouse or your partner's demands for their time will be more. So there can never be perfect equality, and equality should not be the goal of any relationship, right? So I hope this is making sense, and this is where most people tend to get stuck. They're striving to create equality and it never gets done, and the moment there is disbalance, one person gets dissatisfied and there is quarrel. You don't then spend any time with this doing this, you don't spend any time doing this, right? That is what tends to happen. Most people are stuck here. So this is a two-dimensional relationship, and this can last for a very long time. In fact, this can last for people's lifetimes, but this does not create fulfilling relationships, right? There may be a lot of dissatisfaction in it, there may be lots of ups and downs in it. So just like your relationship is a journey, you want it to be the perfect smooth road, right? You want it to be like a landing strip, right, in an airport, right? Not like a potholes filled brick road, right? So how do you make it smoother? By realizing and doing certain things. And the first step to it is don't try and make a one dimensional relationship, don't work towards a two dimensional relationship also. So what do we really want to work towards? What we really want is a three dimensional relationship. And what is that? A three dimensional relationship is one that is defined by your needs are my needs, which means this is where you do things for your partner to help them meet their goals just like they were your own goals, right? This is where you put the needs of your partner above your own. It's not about equality. It's about putting the needs of your partner above your very own needs and the other person doing the same thing for you, right? So what this means is there may be certain areas of your life that you are an expert in, or that your skills, talents, and patience really make you the perfect person to do that job. And there may be other areas of the relationship where the other person's skills, talents, abilities make them the right person to do that job. And you need to divide it, right, in such a way that makes sense, where you don't burden one partner with something. If somebody has to take more burden, you volunteer first, right? So you put your partner's needs for rest above your own. You put your partner's need for fulfillment above your own, and that should hold true for the other person also, right? Your partner should also do that. So this should be the defining mantra of any relationship. Your needs are as good as my needs. Very often people are unsatisfied because they feel like my husband does not treat my goal as importantly as he treats his own. My wife does not treat my need as important as she treats her own needs or the children's needs, right? If you don't meet the needs of your partners, you are never going to be able to meet the needs of your children. This is also a myth. We need to put our children up, before ourselves. That is totally fine, but you cannot have a dysfunctional relationship and still be able to put your children above yourself, right, before yourself. So you just have to make the perfect relationship by working towards this. Your needs are my needs, right? And you put your partner's needs above your own. This should be the mantra of any relationship. This is what is going to lead to fulfilling relationships. And this is what is going to lead to that communication, that even before you say it, your partner knows what you want, right? Those are the kind of relationship that we should all strive towards building, right? And you just know that you have to do certain things even before that is verbally said, but that comes with years of practice. When you first start in a relationship, you have to be highly communicative and communicate a lot. Whatever your needs are, just put it out there. Don't expect the other person to understand anything on their own. And you'll discover this in more detail when we talk about what women really want and what men really want. Those 2 days are going to give you a lot of mind unlocks, right? So today I'm going to leave you with this. Our goal is to build a three-dimensional relationship, and all of us have masculine and feminine energy, right? Now, here is a task for you. I want you to explain the three dimensions of the three types of relationships: one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and three-dimensional relationships to your partner, and then post in the WhatsApp group after you have explained it to them. Right? This is your task. After you have explained it to them, post in the WhatsApp group that we want a 3D relationship. Not I want a 3D relationship, because a relationship you cannot clap with one hand. You need both of them, right? So we want a 3D relationship. You can share this video with them. You can explore some meanings together. You can share in the WhatsApp group an introduction of the two of you. You can introduce yourself. My name is this, my partner's name is this is what we do, this is how we met, and we want a 3D relationship, right? So let's make it a fun activity where you realize what the goal is, right? The goal is to build a three-dimensional relationship. So I'll leave you with this, and tomorrow I will see you with a detailed video of dysfunctional relationships, or how relationships break down. Understanding that help you avoid that, right? And then we'll move on to more interesting things over the next 5 days. I'll be looking forward to your post in the WhatsApp group, and make sure you take time to explore this with your partner. Take care. Have a great day ahead.